Hello, everyone. Today we're talking about what niche you should choose and how you can package your niche so that you can charge more. Firstly, for me, it always comes down to a strategy. I always say before we do absolutely anything in our business, we have to think of the overall strategy, and an overall strategy considers the ultimate goal of what you're trying to achieve. And if someone says to me visibility, I will probably shoot them, because it's never visibility, it's always money. And because you need money, then it becomes back to visibility. So at the end of the day, you have to consider how much money you want to make and who will pay you for that. Okay, because I mean, you can't just say I want $1 million per client. At the end of the day, what have you got that someone's willing to pay for? Okay, so I hope you've got some pen and paper. You're going to write it down, because there is a practical exercise here for you to do today. And I do want you just to jot down notes while we're going through the exercise, any words that come to mind, because it's going to help give you clarity on what your niche and your offer is. So here's the thing. Many marketers and other coaches will advise you to start with a low-key offer. I'm sure you would have seen it where they would have said to you, sell something for $7 or give something away for free. Then we'll email them, we'll nurture them, then we'll sell them a $50 thing. Then we'll nurture, and then we'll upsell them to a $97 thing. Then we'll upsell them to like a $500 thing. So if some of you heard that before, like you've heard that that's how people, what they talk about. So many people know, like I go BS, that is the last thing that you should do. And I can tell you right now, it's not just me. There's a whole lot of other sort of profile professionals that say exactly the same thing. And I'm going to give you some reasons as to why it doesn't work. And it's going to make sense to you when I say this. So here's the thing. All right. When we expect people to buy a low priced offer and then buy another one and then buy another one and then buy another one and then buy another one, in a perfect world, we consider the overall spend and go, okay, well, the life cycle of that client's maybe going to bring you $1,000, you know, once they've gone through the whole funnel. Here's the problem. 3 things that I find with this type of thinking, and in my experience with working with many business owners over the last 7 years. People don't value cheap. Think about how many free resources you have bought, or $7 resources you've bought. I've got hundreds, okay? Even $47, $97 things that I've bought. How many of them have you actually done and finished and gotten results with? All right? So if that's you and you're doing that, think about whether or not your ideal customer is going to do exactly the same thing. And the problem with this is that if they buy something and it doesn't work, whether or not they did it or did not do it, they're going to look at you as in, that didn't work. So the next time an offer comes around, they go, well, why should I buy that offer? Because the first one didn't work. And they're not going to make that mistake twice. So number 2 is, at every step in the customer journey, there is error. There is marginal error that can occur. All right. If you're thinking about the simple funnels that I love to create with lead magnets, and they go from social media straight to the website, straight to the lead magnet, into a nurture sequence, and it's one thing that we're building know, like, and trust with. Can you imagine when there's convincing for a $7 offer, then reconvincing for a $47 offer, then reconvincing for a $97 offer? There is so much room for error as they go through that customer journey. There's room for error in your content. There's room for error in the actual offer. And there's room for error in the automation or the sequences. And if it's not, so then basically that, I call it unicorn thinking. Unicorn thinking, where you think, oh, you know, if they go through the whole funnel, I'll get $1,000 from that customer. Realistically, it makes sense. It's just not going to happen. There's too much room for error. So number 3 is, you have to sell a lot, okay? Which means you have to be in front of thousands of people all the time, because the conversion rate is 2 to 3%. And I've got some figures here for you as well. So even if you're doing things right, the conversion rate is 2 to 3%. So if you've got, say, an 8-step funnel to get $1,000 out of a client, and there's a 2 to 3% conversion rate at each stage, you can see how much room for error there is in a complicated remarketing, upselling, downselling kind of funnel. So if your online store is getting 5,000 visitors and 50 conversions, that means that your conversion rate is 1%. Okay, so you need 5,000 visitors and you need to sell 50 in order for a 1% conversion. Okay, but don't worry, I've got a couple of other numbers for you. So we firstly have to work out whether or not your strategy is actually going to make you money. So what I want you to do is write down how much money you want to make. Okay, but I've used this one as an example because it's quite an easy one to work out the numbers. And it is quite an aspirational one because a lot of business people want to make six figures, right? So let's go with $100,000. So say you want an income of $100,000, and write this down. You want an income of $100,000. Your profit's only going to be $50,000. So I want you to understand that. And when you're reading the Profit First book, you'll understand that even though your income's $100,000, you're actually only making $50,000. And did you know that the average Australian small business owner is making $50,000 a year? $50,000 a year. Okay, so if your offer is $1,000, you'd need 100 clients that year based on a 2% conversion rate. Okay, so even if you're doing everything right with a 2% conversion rate, if you sold a $1,000 offer, you'd need 100 clients that year, which means you'd need to put yourself in front of 5,000 people if the conversion rate is 2%. Now, if your offer is $100, you'd need 1,000 clients that year based on a 2% conversion rate, which means you'd need to put yourself in front of 50,000 prospects if your offer was $100. Okay, in order to generate $100,000 income and only make a $50,000 profit. Some of you are like, whoa. Okay, so when you read the Profit First book, it's going to help you nut out these figures. There is an exercise in there. You can go through, nut out all these figures. I've given you a simple example here, but you need to know your numbers. You need to know what you're chasing. For me, because I had absolutely no money and literally we're going to get sent back to South Africa. The kids were going to starve. I had no choice. For me, I think it was $1,000. 13 years ago, it was $1,000 a week that I had to make in order to survive on a low budget. So really important that you consider how much money you're making. And then you've also got to look at your profit. So say, for example, I'm going to use Alison as an example. Say she's making essential oil. Okay, beautiful essential oil. It's a shiny pen. Beautiful essential oil that she's making. Say it costs her $10 to make it and she's selling it for $12. She's actually only making $2. That's going to significantly impact that result. So I want to say that if you read the book, you'll get it, but you need to understand as well that obviously it's got to be a profitable thing that you're talking about. And time, you have to take time into account as well because time is profit. So where to find more customers? Well, you find them on social media, you find them on events, through your referral partners, by creating lead magnets, running a competition, running a webinar, being at expos, featuring in magazines, in podcasts, in blogs, writing a book, at networking groups, running workshops, doing collaborations, and through Facebook groups or LinkedIn groups. Okay. Now, how do we increase the conversion rate? If you're going, well, I've got to be in front of, let's use, if your offer's $1,000, you've got to have 100 clients a year, which means you've got to be in front of 5,000 prospects per year. All right. Then you've still got to get the 2% conversion rate, right? So how do you increase your chances of getting that conversion rate right? Well, you've got to be in front of the right audience. You have to be on the right channels. You need to be putting out the right content. You have to have a desirable offer. If it's not desirable, it's not going to sell. And you have to have a streamlined process to be able to take money and sell people into it. Okay. So anything wrong in any of those steps, audience, channel, content, offer, process, any mishap in any of those processes, your conversion rate's going to go down. And if that conversion rate goes down by 1%, then you've got to look at putting yourself in front of 10,000 people. 10,000 people on social media, through events, through referral partners, lead magnets. So you have to think about how many people are you talking to right now. Now, there's an easy way to do this. Go and have a look. How many people on your Facebook page? Write it down. How many people are on your Instagram page? Write it down. How many friends do you have on your personal profile? How many on your email list? Go and write down your numbers of your assets right now and look at how many people you're actually in front of, from social media through to emails. Think about when you go to networking groups, how many times I go to networking groups. Every time I go, there's 20 people in the room. So every networking event, I'm in front of 20 people. If I go to the right networking groups, their business people at that group will either know someone who needs my help or they need my help. So think about how many people are you in front of? How much money do you want to make? How many of those do you have to sell? How many people do you have to be in front of if the conversion rate's only 2%? Where do those people hang out? And how can we increase those numbers? Because if you're not making enough money, chances are you're not in front of enough of the right people. So what can you do? So the good news is that it's not a hard sell if you get those things right. If you get your audience right, your channel right, your content right, your offer right, your process right. And that's what I was hoping to talk to Lee about today, because we were just nutting that out last week. If we get all those things right, then you should be able to, it should be an easy sell to get a yes. It shouldn't be a 20-step, process. In saying that, it is getting harder. I can tell you right now, the touch points at the moment is 11 touch points before you are even seen or heard. Think about that. They're going to see and hear you, but only after the 11th time are they actually going to see or hear you. 11 times. So it really gets me when someone goes, I'm going to send out a monthly newsletter. And I'm like, I don't want to bug people. I'm like, get your open rates. It's just not going to happen. But if the content's right, people want to open it and look at it anyway. So for the right person, it'll be a no-brainer and they will simply just hand over money. But it has to be good value and it has to include everything that they want and it has to solve their problem or else they will not buy. So in the meeting that I sat at this morning, there were a whole bunch of, I'm not going to say experts, there were a whole bunch of people from the Active and Healthy Alliance that were together talking about the social media workshop that we're about to run. And all they wanted to do was, how do you twerk on TikTok for health, wellness, and fitness professionals? And I'm going, I want to talk about the strategy and how you're actually going to get clients, because I don't believe a physio twerking is going to get them more clients on TikTok. I just don't believe it's possible. Like, show me if I'm wrong, right? I mean, unless they're hot. They've either got to be hot or they've got to be really sort of dorky. They've got to be either one or the other. So for me, it's always about, where's your ideal customer sitting? Because if we all know that on TikTok, Asians are the most avid users of TikTok, viewers of TikTok. So how's that going to help a personal trainer on the Gold Coast? I don't know. But I'm not talking about it, so I don't have to worry about it. I just need to talk about what I'm talking about on that day. So the question is, to niche or not to niche? And those who know me know that I always say that you should try find a niche inside a niche. So if you haven't written it down or heard me talk about it before, write this down. Find your niche, then find your niche inside your niche. Okay? You're struggling with the word niche, think of point of difference, think of expert, think of specialist if you're struggling with the word niche. Okay? Sometimes a different word can help you find your place. So these are some of the things that you're thinking. And I know I'm going to be right because this always comes. 2 things that you're going to be thinking. I'm not good enough to niche. All right. So, and I really struggled with this one. When I first started, I belonged to when I first started my personal training business, I belonged to this networking group called Mums in Business. And all these other mums were professionals. I was just a personal trainer. Okay. Never been to business meetings before. And they would go, oh, you've got a niche and, you've got to be an expert in something. And I was like, I'm not an expert in anything. And I thought it's really closed mind because we all really are good at something. And sometimes I felt a bit fake talking like I was an expert because I didn't feel like I was an expert. But there were a couple of things that I was reminded of. And the one is, okay, you only need to know more than you only need to more than the person you're talking to that's in front of you. Okay, so you are an expert. You don't need to be an expert standing next to another expert. You just need to be, you're an expert to the person that you're talking to in front of you because you know more than them. That is all you've got to remember. As long as I know more than that person, I'm an expert to that person. All right. And so that really helped me. The second thing is some of you are going to be overwhelmed. Some of you are going to be excited by this, but it takes 10,000 hours around one topic for you to become an expert in it. Okay. So for me, I'm a bit of a, I like to measure myself with things. Maybe that is the personal trainer in me. I like to measure and score how I'm doing with things. So I went, if I'm going to be an expert in this thing, if I'm going to choose this as my niche inside my niche, I'm going to do 10,000 hours worth of study specifically on that topic. And all I did was go to Google, that's it. Go to Google, watch some YouTube videos, do 10 hours on that topic. So you become an expert in that topic. So for me, that built up my confidence. But then the other one was around my understanding going, right, I just need to know more than the person that's in front of me. Now, the second thing that you'll be thinking when it comes to niching is I don't want to lose out on clients. So here's the thing. You will lose out on more clients if you do not niche. If you are, I'll just use personal training again because we've got two here today and they're completely different in the way they do things. And I know that because I work one-on-one with both of them. And I believe there's a client for everyone. But at the end of the day, you are more likely to lose out on clients by going, I'm a personal trainer, than I am a personal trainer who specializes in hormonal performance or eating or training smart and eating more to lose weight. You're more likely to lose out by saying that you are just this thing than by actually niching in it. Okay. And you will always catch people around the outside. I still have people coming to me. I still have people coming to me for Facebook coaching that I did years ago, still coming to me specifically for that. I still have people. I had a real estate agent contact me literally 5 minutes before 5 p.m. on Friday, asking me to work with them just to come in and teach them how to tag and hashtag on Facebook and Instagram. So, and I've in the last 3 years been specializing in client generation. I'm still known for helping people to be able to use social media and being a social media coach. So you will always catch people around the outside. So why should you niche? Well, firstly, you actually become known for one thing. So instead of you become known for, hey, I'm looking for a personal trainer. Now I'm going to tag 1,000 personal trainers I know. Hey, I'm looking for a personal trainer who specializes in blah, blah, blah. You can go, that is the person, that person's an expert in that thing. And I always use the example of how when my VA, she had this little puppy, cute little puppy, gorgeous little puppy. Kids were playing with it. The kids dropped the puppy on the floor. Puppy broke its leg. And she was Googling, who to take the dog to. And the one went, hi, I'm a vet. I do all animals. And the other one went, hi, we're a vet. We specialize in puppies and kittens. Which one are you going to take your dog to that's just broken its leg to? You're going to take it to the specialist, right? You're not going to take it to the generalist. So you can charge more if you can communicate that you are a specialist or an expert. You have to communicate it. You can't just say it. You've got to consistently communicate that niche and show that you are an expert in that field and prove that you're an expert in that field. So no one else will look at you except those people. Where am I? There I am. Number 2 is credibility as a specialist. Okay. So again, you can charge more. You've got the credibility of being known that that is your jam. Like everyone else might be, for me, when I was a personal trainer, I have a diploma in personal training. So I used to say I have a diploma in personal training because other people had certs or they'd done a weekend course in personal training. I did 2 years in it to get my diploma. Very different in South Africa to Australia of how you do it. But yeah, so that gives you credibility as a specialist because there are some people out there will want to work with you because of that. And the third one is that you'll make more profit and you'll work less. So here's the thing. If you're a specialist in a certain thing, all you've got to know and get really good at is that certain thing. So if you keep attracting more of the same people who like that thing, you don't have to go, well, I'm now helping this one with, who said it to me? One of my clients said it last week. They were working with, and they said they don't want to work with those people. They said they don't want to work with those people because they're really hard to work with. I can't remember who it was for the life of me, but someone said, I don't want to work with, I know who it is. A person who works with those that suffer with anxiety said that they didn't want to work with teenagers with anxiety. So they were getting a lot of teenagers with anxiety, didn't want to work with them because they felt that they had to do so much work and research to work with them. Whereas when they worked with sports people, that's what they were good at. And I'm like, well, that's your niche. Your niche, there's anxiety around performance coaching for sports and athletes. So, take teens off the table and communicate that that's what you're working with. So you're actually working less because you don't have to research the whole time and go, I actually don't know how to deal with these people. I've now got to come up with new content. So niching means you actually work less and you can make more money. Because as I said, you become known for that thing. So I had Gold Coast Active and Healthy contacted me and said, please, could I come talk about social media for personal trainers, because they knew that that's what I'd done. I've got the Bowen Therapy at the moment. They've asked me to present at the AGM to come and talk because of my experience in the health, wellness and fitness industry. If you ask me why I didn't niche in that industry, you're not going to like my answer. So I might tell you after when I stop the recording, I'll tell you why. And the people that are on this call will get why. So now you have to stay till the end. Sorry, those that are online watching, you're not going to get the juice. So you will actually make more profit and less work. So here's the niche exercise. Write this down. Okay. This is your niche exercise. 7 things. 7 things that are going to help you with your niche. Okay. Just a couple deep breaths, just to clear your head. Couple deep breaths, clear your head, and just think about your business, who you are, what you do, and who you help. Okay. And then I want you to think about the best one in the situation of each of these 7. Okay. So number 1, industry, the best industry that you like to work in. They just love to give you money and you just love to work with them. Think about the industry that they might be in. So if you're struggling with this one, think about all the clients that you work with. Who are the best ones that you have? I know at one of the gyms that I worked at, we loved nurses. We found we got a lot of nurses who came and worked because they used to have to get physically strong to be able to help people in and out of beds. So just write down a couple of industries. All right. So number 2 is desire. They desire something that you desire and love. So this is aspiration. What is their aspiration? They really, 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 really want this. And you can really, 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 really give it to them. But it's different from everyone else. They really, 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 really want it. Think about it as specific. So don't just say lose weight. Think about specifically what they want. Because for example, personal trainer goes, lose weight. And losing weight is not it, usually. Number 3, think about a common problem your best clients have that you solve. So it is a problem. So if I use Danielle as an example, okay, because you're doing websites, right? You're doing websites. So if we say common problem, Danielle could go, they want a website. No, they don't want a website. Maybe they want a user-friendly website. Maybe they want a website that generates traffic. Maybe they want a website that gets them more customers. It's not just a website. There will be something else that they wanted. Maybe they want to learn how to use their website. Maybe they want to be able to make edits to their website. Maybe they want a non-coded website. Think about what people are asking for, the problem that they've found. Maybe they want control over their website. We've had so many people say that they don't want someone taking over the hosting of their website. They want to have control over their website. Think about the problem, but be as specific as possible. Shared values is the next one. So number 4 is shared values. So think about a value that you have, and they should have the same value. Okay, so for me, for my business, it's action takers. I can't work with someone unless they're going to take action, because else it's not going to work. So action takers, you'll always see in my emails, I go, hey, action taker. Because I want the non-action takers to unsubscribe. I don't want them. So shared values. Maybe motivation is required. They have to be motivated. Maybe they've got to be go-getters. Another one for me is purpose-led. Another shared value for me is people who want control over their online marketing. Right, the next one is personality. So number 5 is personality. And again, is it motivated, inspirational? Is it, there will be something, there will be a personality that you want to work with, that you like working with, and they like working with you. And if you can't think of that, think of a personality that you don't like working with, and think about the opposite word of that. So for example, I don't like working with lazy people or people who have victim mentality. So then look at the opposite of that and go, that's what I like to work with. Number 6 is trending. So if something is trending, jump on it. So for example, Jane with paint and sips, it's a big thing right now. So it is trending. Everybody's doing paint and sips. Everyone knows about it. Everybody wants to do it. So you've got to jump on the bandwagon. I know in the fitness industry, there was always something trending. And in fact, it's usually seasonal. You can almost track it within the fitness industry of what's trending. So what is trending right now? That is why I got into Facebook. When I first started, what was it, 7 years ago, when I first started, people didn't know how to use Facebook. They had no idea how to use Facebook, and no one was showing them. I've had to pivot because now people know how to use Facebook. So I've had to move into, well, it's not about Facebook. It's about generating clients on Facebook. So go with what's trending. And the last one, what in your business can you not stop talking about? You're absolutely passionate about it. If somebody came and sat down next to you and went, what you do is a load of crap, okay? And you got on the defense and you went, but this, but this, but this, but this, but this. It would be something that you are incredibly passionate about, that you can speak for hours about and have knowledge about, and just love talking about it constantly. Write that down. Okay, so out of all the 7 things that you've got there right now, who would like to read through all 7 of their things? Because that is going to help us communicate what your niche is. Who wants to go? Is everyone hiding? Who wants to go? Come on. There we go.
I wrote them down. I just
Yep.
didn't answer. I didn't answer them all.
Okay, so answer the other ones, Jane, and Megan's going to go. And then I'll come back to you, Jane. All right, go, Megan. And let's see, because some of you don't really know what Megan does. So let's listen to this and see if this helps you determine what she does. Go.
Okay, I didn't get the last one written down though. I missed what you said, but I've got for the first one, for the industry, I've got lawyers and corporate business type of mainly ladies.
Okay, so maybe professional ladies.
The second one for the desire is to have a baby, to have a child. And the third one, which was, I can't read my writing, but I've got the common something.
Their problem.
Stress seems to be a big common problem.
Yep. If you can niche that down even more specifically, what is the stress? Is it work stress, money stress? Like if you can go even more into that stress, that will help you.
Okay. So yeah, probably, yeah, work stress affecting their hormones.
Okay. Yep.
And the shared values would be committed. So people who are committed to doing what I offer.
Yep.
And personality would be like open to new ideas and concepts.
Love that. Yep.
And trending. Oh, actually, I didn't have that one. I was trying to think. Yeah, I'm not sure. I just think what I do in general is trending at the moment. Like it's more well known for that particular thing.
And the last one was passionate. What are you absolutely passionate about that you can talk hours and hours about?
Well, it's a bit hard to say that one. Just about what I do and helping people with drugs or without drugs. It could help either of those groups.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to explain that one.
Yeah. So, well, you're passionate about people having the opportunity to fall pregnant.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, passionate. And the other thing that I came up for you was process-driven people. They have to be process-driven because they've got to come in. Megan does fertility acupuncture for fertility. So if somebody is on fertility treatments and they have treatments, you've got to go through a series of acupuncture, and their partner can go through it as well in order to fall pregnant. So I reckon they've got to be process-driven because they can't miss it, right?
That's good. Yeah.
Yeah. So process-driven would be another non-negotiable.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good.
Jane, did you want to go?
Yep, I can go. So industry that I want to work with would be individuals with broken down relationships and mentally just down at the moment, like they've just ended a marriage and they're pretty down in the dumps. The desire is the brain chemical explosions that happen when you do something like an art class with me, Mrs. Red. Common problems, it's one that I don't have, but it's the one that I'm sort of targeting, is that overwhelmed, stressed and sad, just mentally just had enough. Shared values, what did I just think of that one? I think shared values and the personality was kind of the same thing, just being positive and wanting to like allow time to try something new. You only need 90 minutes.
And I think also they have to have an interest in being creative. If they don't have an interest in being creative, they're not going to do it. That would have to be part of their values.
Okay.
Because if someone has no interest in being creative, they're not going to do paint and sip.
the one guy that I had come to my online one, Alison, I think you were there when he was in that class. He was dragged in by his partner who was doing it. And he was like, what's this shit about? And he actually said at the end of it, I have that, like, that was amazing. I'm a mechanic.
We know that, but
Yeah.
he was dragged by the wife. So
Yeah.
the wife is the niche, the partner's the niche, because they're not going to come on their own. So
No.
remember with Sandy, I never told Sandy, I just dragged him along.
Yeah.
So the same thing. So you want people who are going to drag the men along, but you're not going to be able to attract them. He would never have come. If he had had all your marketing, he would never have come.
Yeah.
And I think this is why it's really, really important to get this niche specific.
Yeah. So trending, obviously, that's what I'm jumping on, the paint and sip, because I don't have to explain it anymore. Everyone just jumps on it and can't stop talking about what brain chemicals explode when you do something creative.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Excellent. Thank you. So now what you want to do is you want to take all of that and you want to put that into a mission statement. So I help these people who are feeling like this get this result, because your chosen niche needs to consider three things. It has to consider money, passion, and results in order for it to be sustainable and profitable. Because if you don't get your customer results, if you don't have the capabilities to get your customer results, you're going to get a bad reputation and you're not going to make it. All right. Then your niche, you have to consider money. People have to have the money. Whoever you're targeting has to actually have the money to pay for you, or else you will go broke. And the third one is passion. If you don't enjoy talking about it and putting content out every single day, you're going to burn out, or you're just not going to be successful at it. So your niche has to consider those three things: money, passion, results. You have to be able to get results. And that's why I said to you, it's really important. Whatever your niche you decide to go with, make sure you're passionate about it. Make sure you get good at it. I honestly read heaps and heaps of stuff on Facebook when I first started, so I could develop my program and I was comfortable calling myself an expert. 10,000 hours. So did you know that most businesses in the first 2 to 3 years don't make a profit? And most businesses are only truly profitable at the 10-year mark. So you guys are doing the right thing by getting some help. So how to create an offer someone will buy. Okay, so consider these when creating your offer to make them more valuable. Firstly, know your numbers. You need to know how many to sell and how many when you'll hit capacity. Never sell your time. Instead, sell knowledge. Give people tools and allow them to take action so that they can actually learn. Call things a program instead of calling it coaching, so that people understand there's a start, a middle, and an end. Go for blended learning. You'll notice that online courses are not valuable. People don't buy them anymore. I don't know why people keep saying, create an online course, make money. No one is going to buy your online course. It sounds terrible, but it's true. All right. You can go get things for free. You can go to YouTube. You can download $7 resources. There's so much available. And the completion rate for online courses is under 10%. Instead, if you have an online course, rather have it as a program so that you can at least have some contact. You can have Q&A. You can have a mastermind. You can run events so that you can create an experience for them and keep them accountable through the online course if you have one. Put your prices up because people don't value cheap things and they're more likely to follow through with it. I remember that whenever I used to catch the airplane, I used to write nutrition programs for whoever used to sit down next to me. They used to go, oh, I'm struggling with this. And I'd go, oh, this is what I do. I can write you a nutrition program. So I used to sit there, write nutrition programs, give it to them, follow up in a week or two, and they'd never, ever followed it. As soon as I sat next to them in the airplane and said, that nutrition program's $100. If you want to buy it from me, I'll create one for you right now. I'll take you through the process. I used to follow up in a week's time and they were all following it. So people don't value things that are cheap or free. You need to consider your geographical background, playground. So for example, I only really want to be doing Australia, Tasmania, New Zealand. I don't want to work in the US. I keep getting opportunities to be on podcasts or to speak. And in the US, I don't want to, because it means I'm going to have to be presenting at 3 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock at night. And I don't want to. Instead, I rather be really good in Australia, New Zealand, and Tasmania. So decide on your promise and your positioning, which is that mission statement that I said, your niche. Take those words, put it into a sentence so that you say, I help these people who are suffering with this problem get these results. Decide if you're going to do done for you, done with you, or done by you. Always have two levels. Have a level for those who like cheap and have a level for those who like the best. Consider when you want to work. So for example, when I first moved here, Hannah was 1 year old. So all I did was personal training in mothers groups because I could take Hannah with me and she could sit with the other kids while I did those sessions. And then after I did mums and bubs, then I started going out into early mornings and evenings once the kids got older. Decide who you don't want to work with. That can be really helpful. Who don't you want to work with? And go and do a competitors analysis. Go and have a look at what other people are charging that are doing what you're doing. Because although you are going to have a niche inside a niche, someone is still going to be doing it, guaranteed. So you need to go and see how are they positioning themselves? How much are they charging? Look at their systems, look at their processes, look at their channels, look at all those things that we spoke about. Look at their audience, their channel, their content, their offer, their processes. Competitors analysis, highly recommend doing it. All right, so here are some of the things that you can include. Don't worry, we're almost there. Here are some of the things that you can include to make your offer more desirable. You can also include online course material. You can include one-on-one, although you need to look at capacity. So for example, I'm at capacity again, which means my prices are going up. From the 1st of November, all my prices are going up around 30% because my one-on-ones are all full. Include group calls, include a membership site, include checklists, templates, video series, a Facebook group that is structured that you can nurture and support people with. Offer calls. So for example, my VIPPs, they get calls, they get email feedback. They're all added add-ons that they get. Facebook Messenger support, email feedback, subscription model, accountability calls, promotions. Alison, thank you. This morning, Alison's a VIPP. This morning, it was time for her social, for her email shout out, I think. So she sent me her promotion. So I will be sharing her business to my database of 1,000 people because she shared that to me. So that's a VIPP offer that I offer my certain clients. Discounts. So VIPPs, the hot leads and repeat. Jane messaged me and said, Chantel, I want to do the hot leads on repeat program. Yes, Jane, you're a VIPP. You do all my programs for free. All my additional programs you do for free. So there's different inclusions for that. So discounts, free inclusions, private events, and awards. You'll notice at the end of the year, those that are VIPs or VIPPs will get awards. They'll actually get certificates for working with me. So did you know that in order to make $500,000 per year, okay, all you need is 8 people paying you $5,000 a month. So every month, that means you'd need to be in front of 400 people if your conversion rate is 2%. Okay, so if you wanted to be a $500,000-millionaire, all you would need is 8 people paying you $5,000 a month. Every month, you'd need to be in front of 400 people with a 2% conversion rate. So I just wanted you to have some big picture thinking about how that can look. And I know Jane and I had that conversation when Jane was selling her little drawings, because the little drawings are great, but how are we going to be able to get more money? Because you've got to be in front of so many people to be able to sell so many of those drawings to be able to make the money that you want to make. So where can we put those drawings, or how can we put it into subscription so that we can make more money from it? Okay, comes down to the S word strategy. So for our online viewers, we'll just call it a day there.